Okay, we're recording now.
All right, welcome back to We Shouldn't Be Laughing at This.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. As you can see, we're missing Millie. She's not feeling well, and so she will jump in on the next one.
Yes, we miss you, girl.
Get better.
By the way, I'm Jordyn.
And I'm Susan.
So, what do you want to talk about?
You said you had something that went on. Happened this week.
Yeah, okay. So, I just wanted to talk about our weeks first because it's been a crazy week. How was your week? And then I'll go into my thing.
It was, pretty typical, I guess. I don't think that there was anything that stood out or typical week.
Yeah, okay.
You're like, not me.
Yeah, not at all. Because on Tuesday or Wednesday night, my granddad, he had to go to the hospital, right? And it was like 11 o'clock, like almost midnight. And my mom was waking me up. She was like, wake up. Because I'm a heavy sleeper. And I was like, what's going on? And she was like, Papa has to go to the hospital. And I was like, what? I'm still so fucking confused because I'm like...
trying to snap out of it.
Yeah, it takes me a second to snap out of that shit. Then I fucking... she was like, yeah, you got to move your car so they could get out. Because we all live together. It's my mom and my grandparents and I. So when I park in the driveway, I park right behind them, right? And fucking... So I ran out there, moved my car... moved it to the side so they could get out there, then made an effort to help him get in the car. He looks like he can't breathe or something. Oof. And mind you, I didn't realize this until everything settled down, until I felt how bad my feet were hurting, but I didn't have any shoes on.
It's been cold too.
Yes, I didn't have, it was like when it first snowed too. Oof. If y'all don't know, if you're listening to this and you're not from Colorado, I know there's a few of y'all that aren't from Colorado because y'all have come over for my streams. It was like 15 degrees, like 10 degrees that night, maybe even lower, like 5. And so yeah, I had boxers on, a tank top.
You ran outside like that?
And no shoes. And I ran outside, moved my car, because I was like in go mode. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Like you're like, you just got to get out.
Exactly. Then I have to, because I talked to him that morning and he's like, I was like, yeah, do you want me to like come up there and see you? He's like, no, go to work. Go to work. I'll be fine.
Aww.
And he got out that like before I got home from work. Oh, that was crazy.
That was a fireplace.
Oh, sheesh. I don't know if y'all heard that. We'll see if you can hear that. But yeah, it was crazy. He got out that same night. He's on oxygen right now.
Aww.
It's been a couple days. He chooses not to use the oxygen half of the time. He's feeling better. He looks better. But that shit was scary. That was the one day that you and Millie were texting me and I wasn't responding because I was busy at work and I just couldn't.
It was just a day. So what happened to him?
His oxygen was depleted for some reason. I think it's no coincidence that a couple days ago we had got a new freezer. Did I tell y'all about that?
Yeah. You said it was like pretty huge, right?
Yeah, it was big as fuck. We got a new freezer. They got a new mattress. Just old people stuff, you know.
I have a freezer in my garage.
No, they got one of those mattresses that goes like.
Sammy has that.
Sammy's old man though.
Old people stuff. He's got a hooked up room though. Like
I fucking love Sammy's room, dude. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you how your week was so I could share that too. Because if you're watching this right now, he's fine. He's good. That's why I'm okay talking about it. But yeah, just any positive messages would be great. That's always
scary and stressful though, I think, because like, especially being woken up out of your sleep.
Yeah.
Is just like I think it's like one of the worst things ever, especially when it's like an emergency like that. So yeah, like I'm sure you were standing out there with your feet on that cold ass like concrete until
crazy.
You were like, shit, because it does hurt. And you don't realize it until
like after everything settled down,
and then you're like, okay, ouch, that kind of burns. That kind of hurts. I'm glad he's okay though. That's crazy. That's stressful. It's crazy you didn't say anything to us.
He's a trooper. Yeah, at first I didn't know what was going on, so I didn't want to talk about it until I had more details.
Yeah.
And then now that everything's cool and everything's like back to normal mainly, I was like, I'll just save it and talk about it because I haven't even talked about it when I was streaming last night.
So we know that if something is okay, you're gonna leave it alone. Wait, no, is that the opposite?
Like, if I don't know what's going on, I might just like not want to talk about it because I'm confused and I'm anxiety ridden about it.
And you're trying to deal with it. So it's interesting you say that, because I just had a conversation with Millie today. And one of the things that has come up,
I'm gonna put these on real quick. Keep going.
is that a lot of times we hold on to the things that we're dealing with because we feel like others may not care or they may not understand. And what I told her today, in fact, was she needs to get better about, she doesn't have to share with the world, like if she's feeling upset or has anxiety or this and that, but sharing your story or sharing what you're experiencing allows others to help you navigate those situations. Even if it's just like, I mean, you can't always fix the situation for somebody, but sometimes it's literally just like an encouraging word, or, you know, like, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? Are you this? Are you that? And I get it. I think that Sammy's very much like you. I think it's that only child thing. You guys are used to just kind of navigating things on your own. But I was telling her today, I was like, it has been very, very heavy on my heart. I feel like God has really been speaking to me about, like, share your story. Share your story. Talk about the things that you're going through, because there's strength in numbers, right? And there is strength in knowing that, you know what, I'm not alone in this situation. I'm not the only one dealing with this. And so, yeah, I would encourage you. I know that's something that is hard to change probably, but I had that same exact conversation with Millie today, where I was like, it helps us understand you better if you're like, hey, I'm having a tough time right now, or like, I'm really struggling. Like, there was one day we were going to the gym and I was like, I'm going to sit in the back. I think Millie or Jalen, one of the two, were driving, and I was just sitting in the back and I was just being quiet, and they were like, this is weird. You know,
they're used to you being
like, if
I'm
quiet, like, it's a very, very odd situation. But I told them, I was like, it was a rough day. I was like, and I'm struggling right now. And so even at the gym, I was just kind of like trying to like be in the moment and not worry about the situation that was happening. But I was like, okay, like, this is where I'm at, just so they knew, like, it wasn't about them. They wouldn't take it personal. And so
that's one thing I got to get better at, because I feel like a lot of the times I'll be like going through my own shit or be like overwhelmed by something, and then I get quiet and I fall in the background. And I always find it like I always underestimate how easy it is for people to take that personally. Like, they're like, damn, like, what's your problem today? And then it's really like, I got my own shit going on, dog. It ain't even about y'all.
Well, that's where a lot of misunderstandings come from sometimes too, though. And it's on both ends, though. It's not just on like your end, because it's not your responsibility to make sure that, you know, like, everyone's okay with where you're at. If you're just not okay, you don't want to be okay, you don't want to share it, that's fine too. But I think, like I was telling Millie, it helps to know, like, you know what, I've had a really long day. I'm just really tired. I'm not in the mood. Like, it's not you, which I try not to take things personal anyway. Unless I know it's personal. And then I'm like, that's a different story. But I try really hard not to read too much into it, where I'm just like, all right, you're being kind of bitchy today. What's your issue? What's your deal? Like, let me know. Let's figure it out. But yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, that came up today. So I thought that was interesting. The whole being outside without shoes thing, though, I don't know if you've seen this. I was watching a video on TikTok, I think. Have you seen this? These people with
I was thinking of somebody that we both know that doesn't wear shoes. Do you remember her?
Yes. Yeah.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah. So there's this couple that, and I want to say they're like in New York City, and that may not be where they were, but they decided that they wanted to ground themselves. So they stopped wearing shoes everywhere. And I mean, we're talking about like ice cold.
New York City is the worst place to do that, by the way. That's so disgusting.
Just, I mean, I don't know what you would step on, and I may be wrong in where they were, but it was a large city. I think it was New York City. So
no matter what, that's crazy.
They both started walking around. They walked into Sephora, and Sephora Sephora workers were like, "No, you can't come in here with like no shoes on, this and that." And they were like, "It felt great. You're grounded to the earth, and it feels this and it feels that." And they kept getting run out of different places. So then they took every single pair of the shoes that they owned, cut the bottoms out.
Oh, I did see that.
Like, I thought that was insane. And then they like left a little lip so that their feet would stay in the shoe without the sole. And I was like,
I did see that. That's crazy.
yeah. And I was like, that is, I don't know.
Because they had a lot of shoes.
Yes. And then they
to
sat
cut
there
the
and
bottoms
cut
out of
the
every one
bottoms
is
out of
crazy to
every
me.
single one, and then are walking around with no bottom to their. And I'm like,
That's insane.
I mean, I guess it's better than walking around with no shoes at all, but that's just like,
that's just extra and unnecessary.
yeah,
Because everybody in the comments of that video was like, just get the toe shoes.
yeah, those are
gross.
those are
aren't they?
gross. Yeah,
If you wear those, no offense, but those are kind of gross.
those are
Sorry.
yeah, those are weird. Those have always had a. I don't know. I can't even imagine trying them on, like walking around in them. I don't know.
I would try them low key. They're probably comfortable as fuck. But
I mean,
I
it's
just
like,
wouldn't wear them out in
it's
public.
like
Those would be house
everyone
shoes.
talks about Crocs and how comfortable they are. I think they're the fucking ugliest thing on the planet.
Crocs are ugly, but they're comfortable as shit.
I have owned one pair of Crocs when they first like were kind of coming out. This was years ago. I was in Vegas, and it was during the summer. My feet were literally burning because obviously we know how hot Vegas gets. So I had to go in and buy another pair of shoes. And the Crocs, they were like, "Oh, these are perfect. These will work great." And I wore them that day, and then never wore them again. I got home. They went in my closet. I want to say, I lent them or gave them to, it was Lawson or somebody, like at some point where I was just like, I don't want this, like, because it was like one of those like Spirit Week things, and I was like, you can keep them, those things are fucking ugly. And I know a lot of people love them, so, but
I
that's
think you just
me,
don't like them because you're one of those people like you enjoy like looking because on the last podcast and you say something about like you like wearing your heels and
I do
and doing your thing.
yeah,
like of course you're not a Crocs kind of girl. I understand that.
I don't, but I also love my like my tennis shoes. Like I love my gym shoes. I love my Blazers, my my Nikes. I like my shoes. Crocs have just never been.
Crocs are comfortable,
They
man.
never. If Millie was here, she would be like defending them because she loves them. She loves her Crocs, and a lot of people do. A lot of people do. That's why I said, like, no offense. I'm not a fan of them. But
I fucking love Crocs. The Crocs are this shit, but I don't know.
they've taken them too far. I mean, the Crocs boots people are wearing.
Like
I'm
the platform ones?
No, oh, we saw a pair of those. Those were
crazy,
bad.
right?
Yeah. There's one that I saw now that they're actual like snow boots, and there's like they're supposed to be like non-slip, and I was like, these are fucking ugly.
That shit's crazy, man.
Ugly, but it's a thing. People
this is-
like what they like.
This is random, but I didn't tell you we got Usher tickets too.
Did you guys?
Yes, we got some Usher tickets. We
Jalen.
scored them.
That's cool.
They're a really good price right now here in Denver.
Really?
Yeah, because they're like 200 something bucks
Each?
Yeah.
Nosebleeds?
Uh-huh. Well, no, not nosebleeds. They're really good seats.
Are they?
Uh-huh.
In the 100 section, maybe?
We're just scared that he might cancel the show because Drake keeps canceling his shows in Denver. That shit's pissing me off. I fucking love Drake.
Yeah, I saw that. He's been doing that like back to back to back.
Yeah, because do you remember? Did I tell you about that? That Drake was supposed to be my first concert ever, and then he canceled it. Yeah, it was when I was turning 16, and my mom and my dad got me tickets for mainly my mom. She got me tickets for that concert. We went to Denver. We had the thing, but right before we were getting ready to go, like a few weeks before, he canceled the fucking show, and he's not been to Denver ever since. And I'm 23 now.
I wonder what the issue is. Because he's doing other venues.
I heard some drama with him as far as like Denver.
I was going to say he does other venues.
Some women involved. I don't know.
I mean,
it's
that's
some bullshit.
not surprising. That's not surprising.
And Usher's tickets, they just aren't going too crazy in Denver right now. So we'll see. But that will be my first concert. I still haven't been to a concert before.
Are you serious?
Deadass. I'm so excited. Do you remember your first concert?
Yes, it was. I want to say it was Nelly, but it might have been Kanye. Are you laughing at Nelly?
Yeah.
It was a good concert. It was actually a really good concert.
I don't know if I could sit through a whole Nelly concert.
It
No
was
offense
good.
to Nelly. I love you,
But you
my
have to
boy,
remember,
but-
though, Nelly was like big when I was in like
High school?
early college.
Oh, okay.
Like it was end of high school, early college. I was
Like
like
early 2000s?
19, 20. Yeah.
Okay.
And so like he was big. So it was Nelly and who else was it? Ludacris,
Ludacris.
maybe. Yeah, and it was a good show. I went to really early on. I went to Kanye's concert, and it was empty.
Do you remember what album would have been out when?
What was the little teddy bear one?
Oh, College Dropout.
People were not impressed.
Really?
Like, the actual like venue was so empty, and so then like everyone started like filtering down to like ground level floor. Then people just started leaving. I've never seen a more empty concert in my entire life.
Kanye's career is crazy because he dealt. Did you ever watch that documentary on Netflix about him? That shit was so good, first of all.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to think of him being in the office of fucking Rockefeller or something, and then playing that song in The Wire, and no one's paying attention to him.
Right.
They could care less. And even the same thing, like the fact that his first concert that you had went to, like when he first, because that's around the time when he first came out.
Yeah.
Like when him and 50 Cent.
Yeah.
That, I don't know if it's that album, but like when they were competing for album sales at one time, that's
Yeah.
around the same time. And just now people know that album is a fucking classic masterpiece. I fucking love that album.
Yeah, people were not, when I was at that concert, people were walking out.
That shit's
Like,
insane.
I mean, we got so close up to the front. I have pictures somewhere, but we were so close up to the front. Like he was like right there, and people were just filtered. Like I turned around, it was empty, like empty. It was kind of crazy.
They
But
stay on Kanye's dick now.
Kanye makes me sad though, because you could see how mentally ill he is. And that is so hard to watch, because who is going to say to him, or who's he going to listen to say like, hey, you need to stop. Like you need to take a step back. Like mentally, you're not okay. I know people are like, they want to copy what he does, but the way he has his wife walk around and like with the little
shit's crazy,
cat,
right?
and
It's
she's
kind of
like
creepy.
basically naked. I'm like, it's almost like she's his slave. Like it's weird.
I think that's like a fetish thing between the two of them.
Yeah,
I've
but
seen that
it's
on Twitter, and it made me
odd.
think about that because she doesn't look unhappy.
She doesn't look happy though.
Well, yeah.
And also appearances outwardly.
She just looks like
she doesn't look okay.
a mannequin.
Yeah, she does not look okay.
Did you see the pictures of her before they
Yeah.
were together? That shit's crazy.
Yeah, she doesn't look okay. He's clearly not okay, but she doesn't look okay.
He's not okay in so many fashions. Like the fact that you can't. Everything about him though is so complex, because if you listen to Kanye fans, like Kanye diehards, they will have an explanation for everything.
Yeah,
like
they do.
The fact that he has a mask on everywhere he goes, and the way that his face looks right now,
He's
he just
starting
looks
to wear it on his face. So they say like when you're going through things in life or you're stressed out, you wear it on your face, and you could really, really see it. So like this time last year, I was getting over having had shingles, and like my last relationship, I've
forgot
told you
about
guys.
that.
Yeah. So I've told you guys like pretty much my entire relationship, I was sick with one thing or another. I ended up with shingles,
Your
and then
body
I had
was-
I had COVID, and then I tore my ACL and my MCL. I had to have surgery, and then I got sick again. And so like it was one thing after the other. Now looking back, I realized it was like my body saying like, this is not where you belong, which I 100% believe that. Because like all of a sudden, like I was, you know how Google Photos like pops up memories.
Oh yeah.
And it gives you like the memories. So it was
Snapchat
like,
does.
yeah, it was like this time last year. And so it was like me traveling for work, and I was with my ex, and like I just look different. I don't look the same. I look,
Not okay.
yeah, like I was really, really, really skinny. Cause obviously like with shingles, like you're in so much pain. I wasn't eating. I couldn't work out. Like I wanted to, but I couldn't because I was
you
in
were
so much
miserable,
pain.
man.
And so then as like things kind of progressed and like life just kind of started to unfold, it kind of was like, okay, well, this is kind of like the new normal. And I just accepted it. But like, oh man, I was wearing it on my face. Like
And now you feel so
see
much
it.
better, huh?
I am feeling better. Like every day that passes, I feel more like myself. I feel more alive. Like one of the best compliments I got was from a friend that I grew up with. And he like messaged me the other day. And he was like, he goes, I just have to tell you that you look so happy. And that is like the best compliment
feels
ever.
so good to hear.
Yeah, because
I
I
love
was
hearing
like,
that.
you know, anybody can say, oh, you look beautiful, you look this, you look that. But to call you happy, I'm like, that's a genuine thing. And like, I told him, I was like, you have no idea. Like that made my day, because I've struggled so much. Like that, the whole 2023 was insane. And then just like coming into like healing from everything that happened. It's nice to start feeling like myself again. But like I was saying about Kanye, it's on his face. He's wearing it so heavy. And so every time I see him like in the media and stuff, I'm like, my heart is sad for him. Just like Britney Spears, my heart is sad for them because nobody will say to them, like, get out of the limelight, take some time to heal. Let's figure you out. But again, who's Kanye going to listen to? He thinks he's God.
Exactly.
You know, and that in and of itself is scary as hell. Like that level of like,
especially with the followers that he has, that shit's dangerous.
The followers, but the power and money he has.
Exactly.
That's what makes it really, really scary. Because you're like, you know, if a regular person loses their mind, they don't have access to all the resources he does. They
can't negatively affect society the way that he can.
And so the amount of people who have followed him, I mean, Kanye he's very talented. He's extremely talented. He's, you know, I think there's a lot of virtue to him, but there's just so much that like, if you really took a chance and just stopped and you looked at it, you're like, this is not okay.
From beginning to end.
He is not okay.
It's ever since his mom died. Yeah. Like he's never been the same since then. He had a
manic breakdown. He hasn't come back from it.
Never.
And he's literally living in his own world. I mean, his daughter, I feel is, what's the oldest one's name? North.
The one that's on the album
is crazy, man. She is.
I think
she bullies the hell out of Kim. Like
she sure
the
does.
Shit that I've seen her say, I'm like, and Kim's just like, that's just so mean.
You can see it in Kim's face.
She gets her feelings hurt, and I think the reason why she probably doesn't say or do anything is because she's afraid of how people are going to react to her.
I think it's because of that. And on the other hand, she's used to people saying things about her, negative things about her since she's been in the limelight. The fact that it's coming from her daughter, she doesn't know how to fucking interpret that and to react to it. It's just like mind-boggling.
North, you need to have some loyalty. And North's like, you didn't tell me not to say anything. I'm like, damn.
Like there was that one video
look who her dad is, you know, like what do you expect?
And she said something about like Cardi B came up in the conversation. She was like, they're not together anymore. And she was like, oh, you gotta stop talking. You gotta don't say that.
She's gonna cause waves.
She sure is. When she gets to like her teens,
she's gonna cause waves. She already is.
How old is Northwest right now?
Oh, I don't know.
She's like 11.
She looks like she's.
I don't even know where my phone is.
11 or yeah, I got it.
I want. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I want to know how old North is because it's just a matter of time before. Because she's already on Kanye's. Did you actually hear those songs? Those couple songs. I don't like them. I don't like the first one at all. The most
I'm not really a
one.
fan of. She's 10 years old.
She's 10.
Yeah.
Oh, poor thing. Oh man.
But you know what? You come from two people have labeled Kim as a narcissist. They've labeled Kanye as a narcissist. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot. We'll have a whole episode where we will talk about that because of like personal experiences that I've had with that. And I think there's a lot of value to that because people are like, oh, this word just gets thrown around. And it's like, we're creating a lot of really sick people.
Exactly.
A lot of very selfish people, a lot of needy people. Like, I mean, I think, you know, we talked, because you guys don't know this, but episode 1 we had to do 3 times because there were several issues. And so
we haven't talked about that.
We haven't, no. So like in the last episode, we kept saying, oh, we've talked about this, and it's because we actually did. You guys just didn't get to hear it. But I think one of the things that we talked about was, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. We were talking about Kim. Narcissism. But yeah, no.
Because we talked about it. In the very first episode that we did that hasn't been put out yet. One day we'll put that out after we have a couple of normal episodes that we're putting out.
More stuff coming out.
Because the first episode had some very valuable conversations. It's just not as polished as we're getting to now.
It's hard to replicate it. But there was a point that I was getting to that, and this is what we do. What were we talking about? What were you talking about? But anyway, yeah, I think that we're creating a society of people who are very attention starved. That's where it was, because I was talking about, you know, people who, what do they say? Don't date the village idiot that's looking for the attention from the village, because then that's what they're going to do. And that's what I ended up dating. You know, I'm not calling him an idiot, but he is what he is. But the attention that he was trying to get was more important to him than the relationship that he had built. with me. And I think that that's true for like a lot of these celebrities. Like, I mean, I don't know. I had my therapist actually made a statement to me about, you know, narcissism and how it can grow in certain fields where you don't think about it growing in. So like religion, like pastors, preachers, that lends itself a lot to narcissism, because can you imagine standing up in front of all these people and being like, I'm giving you the word of God. You're listening to me, you're looking to me for advice. And so he goes, it's just a very natural tendency to be like,
That's why a lot of them are
actually really
hypocrites.
like this.
Like TD Jakes. Did you see all that?
Yeah, I did. And you know what? That made me sad, because I think there's so much value in what he has said. But when he addressed it at one point and his voice
During
was shaking.
Christmas.
Yeah, his voice was shaking and you could tell like I'm like, this man is not typically nervous
I'm
like
not
this.
going to address a lie.
Yeah. And I was
He
like,
talks like Martin Luther King.
he does. But I love him. I think that there's so much value to what he says. And I think that's the hard part too sometimes, because it's like we're looking at them. And so sometimes the way that we look at them, there's fault in that too, right? Because like I look at my church leaders as, you know, somebody who has been called to like speak the word of God and to like address those things with us. But sometimes you can over idolize them because of the position that they're in. And so sometimes I catch myself, you know, listening and being like, I don't really like what they said or where they're going with this. And then I have to take a step back and be like, okay, they're human as well. You know, they're
Yeah, you don't have to agree with everything.
Yeah. But that's hard sometimes though, because when you're in church, like I want to feel like I'm being led correctly, not where I'm having to question like, what did you say?
My grandma's left churches before for that reason. My grandma's very specific. Like if she's in church, she loves everything about church, but she just doesn't want to hear that stuff about like gay people, like how that shit's wrong. Like she disagrees so strongly with that, which is unique for somebody her age.
It is very unique. Yeah, I
She
agree with
feels
that.
extremely strong about that. She's like, I don't care who you are and what you do, God loves you.
Right.
You're not doing anything wrong.
Right.
Because sometimes when people talk about that specific issue, they're like, God loves you regardless. And it's like, regardless of what? You're not doing nothing wrong.
Right.
Why would God or whatever y'all believe in? Everybody believes in different things. No one's trying to tell you what to believe in. But if you believe in God, why would God create so many people of this thing for it to be a sin and for it to be wrong? And then you got people on that side that are like, well, God didn't do it, it's the devil's fault.
And I mean, they talk about the Bible, you know, what does the Bible say? And you know, it's like you go back to the Bible and it's a guide, and it's, you know, if you look at the Bible, and we can get into this conversation later on because this could be a whole other thing too, but there's a lot of arguments against it. But I think my favorite thing has always, what I heard one of my favorite pastors say one time. He goes, according to the Bible, it's wrong. There's a lot of things that we do that are wrong in the Bible.
Like eating bacon.
Yeah. He goes,
pork is not okay in the Bible.
Right. He goes, however, God tells us to love everyone, including who we consider our enemies, right? And so if you're supposed to love your enemies, why are you judging anybody else? And so, like I said, we can get into a whole discussion over that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's that whole narcissism thing. It is a big keyword. It's out there. But man, just really, I guess back to the Kim and Kanye thing, both of them, like, yikes. And you could tell when he was done with her, like
towards the end, it was weird.
Like he was just very off. Like, he has that very, like, I think because his like RBF face is so scary that when he smiles, it like lights everything up. So like I think it was a scene where they were not at a scene, it was a part of, they were at the I think a Lakers game.
Oh, okay.
They might have been, I don't know if it was the Lakers, but they were sitting in courtside, of course, and the camera zoomed in and they're like, Kim Kardashian West and Kanye West, and he's just like won't even look at her. He's got that serious look on his face, and she leans over and like gives him kind of like an air kiss, and he just kind of like gives her that look, and I was like, oof.
I think the two of them they got their own shit going on, because just the response of him when she started dating other people and when they first separated, like he did want her still, but I think he wanted her to be the woman that he's like created in his mind of, in a sort of sense. Like
I think he wanted to use her as a platform for himself. So he was projecting what he wanted onto her. So he's like, here's this woman that all these men want. The media adores her. She's gorgeous. She's smart. She's this, she's that. And he looked at her as, I don't think like somebody that he genuinely loved. He looked at her as a possession. And I think that's how he looks at his current wife. He doesn't, to me, there is no line for him between like, this is another car that's going to make me look sick when I pull up in this like brand new, you know, whatever car that everyone else wants. It was a status thing for him.
You could hear it on the, like every time he's ever referenced his current wife in his songs now, for like from this new album.
Yeah.
And when he referenced Kim, I haven't thought about that, but yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I think she was a status symbol for him.
She was just another bragging about
she
her.
was just another thing to acquire, another like accolade, another like, oh, I had hot woman here. I mean, that's why his current wife resembles Kim.
She looks just like her.
Literally, what is the worst thing that can happen to him is losing that symbol. And she's so big and her name is huge and she's, you know, she's got her airplane and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And he's not with her anymore. So he's constantly trying to find that attention where he's not going to have it anymore because he's seeing that she's getting that attention without him. And so I think that's a part of it that he doesn't like.
That shit's crazy, man. There's just, I was going to ask you a question. I'm trying to think about it as I'm talking
Like,
about that Kanye shit. Damn. But yeah, this shit's just crazy. I feel like celebrity just turns people and they just have to deal with so much shit. Plus the fact of it being in the limelight, like it just makes so many people like seem, I don't want to say crazy, but they're just off. Like they got their demons are pretty big.
Though think about what that would do to you mentally. So like when we just went on Tuesday, the girls and we went to see Pitbull and Enrique Iglesias and Ricky Martin in concert. And we were super close. So you could see that like them on that center stage. And at one point I was looking at Enrique and I was watching him perform and my mind just went to the fact that like he was standing up and he's like waving at everyone and kind of like, thank you for being here and doing his gestures. And I'm like, what does his mind say to him that this many people paid to come out to see him? Where do you go with that?
And the look in people's faces when they're looking at you, they're like, so excited to see you.
What do you do with that? And how do you top that? Can you top that? And what happens when you fall from grace? Because what goes up must come down. And at some point, like all of that is going to start to fall. And so I was thinking about that as I was watching the concert. I'm like, here's somebody who truthfully, if I passed him on the street, I wouldn't think twice. I would just be like, it's another dude, whatever. He's very, very thin. He's just who he is. I mean, Pitbull he's amazing. He's a really, really good performer. But for some reason with Enrique, it just kind of sat with me differently because I was able to like see the look in his face. And I was like, what a weird reality. What a weird world. Like you don't have a concept of like anything outside of what you are. You can't go anywhere because people recognize you, you know? And it's like, what does that do to you mentally? How does that change you? How does it affect you? I don't think people talk about that enough.
It fucks people up.
Yeah.
That's why you got so many celebrities and musicians that do like crazy shit. Like look at R. Kelly, you know what I mean? Which is the question that I forgot, but now I remember is like,
R. Kelly.
What do you think about like if someone's done a bad thing? And because there's the Michael Jackson movie that's getting ready to come out. R. Kelly still has a body of work that exists and continues to make money on like all these musical platforms. You got who else? Who's another person like Bill Cosby? You got the Cosby Show still. Like I wonder how hard it is to separate the art from what the person's done if it's possible. Like, because I am someone who I know how valuable the Cosby Show was to everyone, but especially Black people. It's
Right.
Black History Month right now. It's hard not to reflect on that. But my thing
Okay,
is,
you can. It's okay, you can.
but that's my thing is like, if you say that to the wrong person, it's like, what? No, we don't do that anymore. We don't even consider the Cosby Show in like greatest sitcoms or
Because people are extremists. And, you know, like at the end of the day, like Michael Jordan, anybody who knows me knows I've been a huge Michael Jordan fan my entire life. And of course, growing up, like that's who you followed. LeBron James is another one of my favorites. Kobe Bryant, obviously, the very, very traditional ones. I've also loved, you know, Paul Gasol from the Lakers, because I think he just has such an amazing heart, and he has shown it, you know, still being there for like, Kobe's family after he died. But, Michael Jordan has some pretty twisted things about him that
shit
you know
is
what?
totally like
it's
a
crazy.
rabbit hole you can
but
go
you know
down.
what? I will say this, like, I can separate the shitty human from, like, I can't take away the fact that he's that talented, that he was that good. So to me, I'm like, I love Michael Jordan on the court, off the court, yikes. But I still have support and love for the on-court Michael Jordan. I'm nobody to judge the off-court him. I can't, you know what I mean? And so I don't know. I mean, there's certain things that, you know, for me, if it crosses a boundary, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody that I'm like, no, I would never like buy their stuff or support them. I'm trying to think of who that would be. But to be honest with you, I just don't care enough. Like, I know, but I'm like,
Did you ever care for R. Kelly, like in his
I
heyday?
think R. Kelly is absolutely talented.
Like
I think he is extremely talented. I still jam out to his music.
okay. That's what I was gonna ask.
But yeah, no, I'm not like R. Kelly, you fucking pervert. No, I will say this though. There are songs that come out and like some
The
of his
context
stuff
behind it is
and I'm
fucking
like,
weird.
ew.
Even that Aaliyah
like,
song,
yeah.
"AJ Ain't Nothing But a Number," I love that song, but
Yeah.
that shit is odd.
It has a different tone to it now, because now you know some of the behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, I know Michael Jackson, like that was such a big deal. Like growing up, everyone used to. So I think Michael Jackson was on one of two sides. Either you loved him or you loved making fun of him, because he was so bizarre.
Like that wacko jacko
Yeah,
shit.
and so like, and then they'd be like, oh, you know, he's another one who got lost in the cracks of the world of like the celebrity. Like
At an
really,
early age,
yeah,
too.
somebody should have said like, this child needs a childhood. And so he was reverting back and he was trying to like relive that. And who knows what the truth is, right? Like it's kind of like when people break up, they say there's three sides to the story: his, hers, and the truth. Like, I remember what he said happened. I remember what the media said happened, but who knows what the truth was in between that?
What
Like,
do you think happened? Do you think that he did it?
I don't know. I have a hard time with that, because I do think that the way that he was living his life very much fed into the fact that he was trying to relive that part of his childhood that he didn't gain.
Okay.
And there is a very famous psychologist that says that if you miss a certain part of your life, you will revert back to it at some point in your life. So if you're 40 and you didn't get to be, you know, a young kid or a teenager or in your 20s, you're gonna go back to that, because you have to fill these stages, you know, and progress. And you're not gonna meet that top stage where you're at until you've met all those stages. That kind of makes sense, because then that's a piece of your brain that's like, I missed that. I missed my childhood. Now imagine like Michael Jackson he was the youngest, right? The Jackson 5. He was
the
little.
second youngest. I think there's one under him.
But wasn't he the youngest one that was on stage of the 5?
At first, yes, but then they have like when Michael Jackson was in his teens, that's when they
brought a younger one out.
Yeah, they have one younger brother. I forget what his name is.
But at the end of the day, like,
Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
He ended up being the star. Like
Yes,
he
definitely.
they quickly like separated him, and he was
That
he
shit's
was so
insane.
talented.
Oh.
not to get off topic, but have you heard his is it his nephew?
The one that's playing him in the movie.
Jafar
he sounds
Jackson?
just fucking like him.
I sent that it was like a video, and I sent it to one of my friends, and he goes, "Who's Jafar?" And I was like, "Did you watch the video?" And then he goes, "For a second I thought it was Michael Jackson." I was like, "That's his nephew."
Hard. Yeah, because it sounds like
impressive.
Like the AI shit. It just sounds like a different thing
He
that you've
also
never
kind of
heard.
looks like him too.
He looks like
He
him.
has
But
a
have you seen the
likeness to
clips
him.
of the movie that's getting ready to come out?
No, I'm scared too.
They're doing weird shit with his
Yeah,
nose and shit.
I'm scared too.
I might put a picture over somewhere here, but they're doing like weird shit with his nose and prosthetics. It just doesn't, it looks off, and he looks more like him naturally. Like even
Like they should have just kind of left well enough alone.
until he gets to the point where Michael Jackson is at the later end of his life and he's had all of the plastic surgery and shit. But early in his life, like there's a picture of him, because it looks like they're at the Off the Wall release party, which is, I would love to talk about music on here, because there are certain albums that are just like, to like masterpieces to me. Off the Wall is one of those albums.
Oh yeah.
Off the Wall
So-
is perfect.
My nephew was 6 years old when my sister showed him a picture of Michael Jackson, because I mean his voice is
Which
beautiful.
one though? Which Michael Jackson?
The
'Cause
later
there's
later years
okay.
Michael Jackson, and he started crying.
Yeah.
He goes, "Why would somebody do that?" He was so, and she and I laugh about it, but like the reaction of a child is always going to be very, very raw
Honest,
and very natural. And so he cried. He was so scared. And I was like, watching him, it's very much like what we're watching with Kanye, what we're watching with Britney. Britney looks insane. She just looks crazy, and it's
She
sad.
looks like
She looks empty. And I tell everyone, because I have had experience with dealing with people with mental illness, and there comes a point where when you talk to them, when you go hug them, when you are trying to like just interact with them, it's like you're interacting with a shell of them. And it is the saddest thing ever. And I saw that in Britney years ago, where I was like, she's not okay. She's like, her mind is gone. Like she is a shell of what she was. Kanye is getting there. He's not quite that broken down yet, but he's getting there. I mean, it's sad. It's a
pretty
sad
close.
reality. Yeah, it is. But the bad thing is that he has people who are fueling that behavior. So he's not going to ever see it as wrong because he gets all this attention for it. And that's the issue.
And
It's
money.
like, if you love somebody who is going through that, pull them back. You know what? Stay out of the limelight for a year. Let's let you live in anonymity for 1 year, and let's see what that does to you. Let's see how that heals you. Let's see how that changes you. And then once you have that, then let's put you back out there and let's let people see what healing looks like. Like, you don't have to be center stage all the time, because he's gonna continue to break. I mean, he does the weirdest shit. Like, seriously, like the clothing, I'm like, okay. And I mean, it's been weird for a while, but
It's just going off of the deep end. You can actively see it. I feel like people probably felt that same way about Michael Jackson, like in the early, like when all of the kids stuff was going on, like when he was going through the trial and shit. That shit is.
but people, I think,
weird.
initially weren't questioning it as much, because I mean, you have to remember, like when I was growing up, there were things that people didn't get offended by that they now do. Which now, I mean, now we know better. Like, I'm
certain stuff we should have been getting offended
we should
by.
have been getting offended by, like, okay, R. Kelly, but why are you allowing your 15-year-old daughter to go hang out with this celebrity? Which, I'm sorry, but like musicians, and they're known to play the
Weird
field.
shit.
Yeah.
It's like
So,
Elvis was fucking singing about 13 to 16-year-olds and shit, however.
Yeah. So like, as the parent, where is your accountability in that? Because I can guarantee you, had I had a 15-year-old daughter who was like, I'm going to go hang out with the celebrity, I'd be like, the fuck you're not. No, you're not. Absolutely not. You're 15. What do you know about how to handle a situation in a grown ass man in an industry where he already is at the top? So you're going to say no to him?
That's like that episode. You know that episode of the Boondocks when they're doing the R. Kelly trial and the girl is on the stand and she's like, hell yeah, let him pee on me. Like, if I didn't want to get peed on, I would have moved the hell out the way. That shit is fucking hilarious. But then now that he's in jail and you got the context behind some of the shit that he's doing, if you're thinking too much into it, you're like, ooh,
It
yikes.
is. It's gross. But again, where's the accountability of the other people involved? Yes, he needed to be held accountable, but where is the accountability of this? I think this is the problem we have right now with society, is that parents and just people in general are looking to blame others for things that they should be taking care of. So like schools, for example. Parents want to send their kids to school and then they get upset when their kids are failing, they're ditching school, and then they want to call and bitch out the teacher. And it's like, hold on a second though. Who's the parent here? And why is your child getting away with this? And why is it the end of the semester and they haven't done one single assignment? And now you're Taco.
I thought I heard that.
Yeah,
in my
he just
headphones.
comes
Like,
over
what
here
the
and he
fuck?
checks on us and then he walks away. But like the accountability piece is missing. So to me, I would have been like, if I were the judge, I would have been like, you know what? As the parent, that's child abuse. So you let your child do that. That is neglect. You should never have allowed your daughter to be in that position, in that situation. I don't care who the hell it was. Like, no, you do not trust anybody. Like, you teach your children to obviously have some self-respect, but what does a 15-year-old know?
They don't know anything.
When you put a 15-year-old in front of a celebrity and they're like starstruck and they're like, oh my God, he likes me. He thinks I'm beautiful. No,
Meanwhile,
he's just
taking advantage
yeah,
of you.
he's just a pervert. And like, how do you differentiate that when you're just like openly allowing them to do that? So yeah, I mean, I think that it spans pretty far. I mean, we're seeing it a lot where parents just, they don't want to take accountability. And I'm like, you're allowing social media to raise your child. And then you wonder why they have the issues that they have. You don't want them to cry. You don't want them to be sad. You don't want them to be upset. And it's like, emotions are normal. You have to teach them how to cope. You have to teach them how to act right in life. And if you're not willing to do that, then what the hell? Like, I mean, obviously I was a former teacher. I'm not taking responsibility for that shit. There are a lot of kids that I mean, I have kids, like I think I talked about, I don't know if it was in the last one, that the first teaching job I had, I was 21.
Oh yeah, and they were like,
they were 18,
younger than you.
Yeah, 18, 17, 16, and 15, because they were freshmen all the way through seniors. So I have former students that are only 3-4 years younger than me at this point, which is crazy. But the amount of former students that I've had that have said to me, like, you helped raise me. You taught me this. You taught me that. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have learned this. I wouldn't have learned that. And I've always taken that as something that, as a teacher, I was like, okay, this is something I should be doing. But there are some teachers who don't want to do that.
There's a lot of teachers who don't want to do that.
Yeah, where they're just like, this is not my responsibility.
In my academic career, you were kind of an anomaly.
Yeah.
Like, there's not too many teachers that, there were teachers that, like, okay, there's a spectrum. It's like from a teacher, like, like that one math teacher that we had in 8th grade. That was a pain in the ass.
You guys were so bad to her. Oh my gosh.
She was so fucking ridiculous. But like, you got her on the opposite end of the spectrum. I'll never forget that bitch. I ain't gonna say her name. But she was fat and nasty, and she was nasty as a person too.
She was just not nice to you guys.
She was such a bitch. Like,
yeah, she was not nice. And then I remember she would come down to my class and she'd be like, did you know they did it? I'm like, I don't know what they're doing in your classroom. I'm like, but they come to my room, they act right. Rarely did I have to yell at you guys. Like, if I did, you guys listened. But like, I mean, the come to Jesus talks, we had those several times. And it's funny because like kids from years past will be like, do you remember the come to Jesus talks? And I'm like, I do. Because everyone would walk in, they'd be like, are we going to have a come to Jesus talk today? And I'm like, yeah, because you're being assholes.
you got to explain what that means so people understand what that fully means. Okay.
So if I had a sub or I had to be out, sometimes my classes acted like fools. Like, I mean, there were some examples where it was bad. And so, very rarely do I raise my voice. Like, I joke around a lot. I laugh things off. I think things are funny. I'm a lot more, I guess, realistic. I guess a good example is there was a kid I had. I don't know if he was in your grade. He might have been a couple years younger than you, but he was jacking around back behind my desk and he ended up knocking over my file cabinet everything fell over.
I
Files.
think you told me about
There
this,
was
but
like
I wasn't in
there
that.
was like a sand art thing on top that shattered. It broke. I used to love that because we would just spin it, and there were a couple of kids. I would set it right next to them so they can like watch it or whatever. And I taught video production and technology and all that good stuff. So my classroom was all computers, and so he's standing there, and it was very much a Bart Simpson moment where like all this shit is all over the floor, and he looks at me and he goes, "I didn't do it," and I was like, bro, I'm literally watching you. You're standing right there. And I go, it's fine. Pick it up, clean up the mess. Like, you knocked it over. It happens. Were you messing around when it happened? Yeah, so be more careful next time. And he just looked at me and goes, you're not going to yell at me? And I was like, why? Just pick it up.
It was an accident.
Yeah,
It
I was
would
like,
be
it was
one
an
thing
accident.
if he did it on purpose.
Yeah, I was like, pick up the mess. And he just kind of looked at me and was like, I've never had a teacher like do that to me. Like, they always will yell at me. And I was like, because that's the first reaction. And I get that. So if they acted crazy, and this was always a sub thing, or even like if somebody was displaying a behavior that I was just like, I'm over this shit. Cause like we talked about in the last episode, I don't do the I'm better than you attitude. I'm the best attitude. Cause I'm like, there's always somebody better than you. There's always going to be somebody better than you and somebody who's not as good as you, but you never ever tell everyone how great you are. Because the minute that you do that, you take all that away. Like true greatness is from others telling you like you're great at what you do, not you having to be like, look how good I am. That's attention
you just
seeking.
show how great you are.
Yeah,
You don't
it's like
fucking
you
talk
just
about
do
it.
what you do because you love it. And so anyway, like subs, it was hard for subs to come into my class because I had more of a different control because of the level of, I guess, just love and respect that we mutually had in the class. So if I said something, everyone would listen. I mean, there were instances where like a new kid would come in and try to mouth off. That never went well for them, ever went well for them. But
because the whole class will gang up on your ass.
it was bad.
That shit was
Yeah,
crazy.
it was really, really bad. And it happened like year after year, like where I was like, wait, really? You said what? Like, best example, there was a kid that didn't really know me too well, and somebody heard him call me a bitch. And I was like, I can be a bitch. Like, I was very realistic about it. And like 3 of my boys heard it and followed him out the hall, and yeah,
They beat his ass, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, poor thing.
And so like, and
Shit.
I didn't know that that's what they were doing, but they were like, no, he's not gonna be up in your room talking shit and then call you a bitch and walk out. Like, you're like our mom, you're like our big sister or grandma, whatever the hell everyone called me, like messing around. But, that happened several times. Or like somebody would say something and then they would be like, oh, so-and-so said this about you. And I'm like, that's okay. Like, they can have an opinion. Like, I don't have an issue with it. If I heard it, there was one time 2 girls were sitting in the back and I was like, ladies, I need you to just stop talking. Give me 10 minutes. Cause I wasn't a big lecturer. I would be like, I'm going to show you guys 10 minutes and then you're going to actually work on it. And then we're all going to just work together, get our shit done. And they were just talking and talking and talking. And so I walked back over there and I was like, ladies, I need you to stop. Like, I've asked you several times, like, just please stop. And I was walking away and she goes, whatever, bitch. And I turn around and I go, you know what? I can be a bitch. And if you want to see me be a bigger bitch, continue to speak to me that way. And she was just like, and everyone just stopped. And then one of the kids in the front was like, what did you call her? And I was like, just stop, just leave it alone. So anyway, I guess getting back to the Come to Jesus talks. Any of my former kids can tell the stories where if something bad happened when I was gone and there was a sub and it was out of control, because there were some subs that were just nasty, like just mean. And I was like, okay, you know what? They deserved it. There were some subs where I was like, you know what? No, you took advantage and I don't appreciate that because that reflects on me as a teacher. This is our room. This is our space. Like, you guys know better than to act that way. So they would all come in, they would sit down and it was dead silent. And then I would literally just be like, I'm so disappointed in you guys. I can't believe you did this. This is not how you act. We're better than this. We're going to show people, like, when I'm here, there's certain things that I tolerate that are beyond, the norm, because I know how to control that. And I know what your intention is. These subs don't know that. So every time I had a sub or something happened, kids would come to my door and be like, are we going to get a Come to Jesus talk? And
because they know what they did.
They did know what they did. And every single time,
it was coming.
Every single time they would be like, it scares me when you do that. And I'm like, first of all, Even when I give you the come to Jesus talks, I'm not yelling at you. I'm still, my tone just changes. It goes down lower. And I think the biggest thing was that everyone just didn't want me to be disappointed in them, which I loved. And I really, really appreciated that, because it was a level of respect that I knew we had. It was that mutual respect, but it was kind of like, yeah, it was that mom role where I was like, all right, you fucked up. Now I'm going to tell you what I think about it. But just as quickly as I was upset about it, I would get over it and I'd be like, all right, on to the next thing. And then we'd forget about it and move on. So yeah, the come to Jesus talks, I'm sure people can give some good examples of that. Cause I think I've had several comments about that. Do you remember the come to Jesus talks? I'm like, yeah, I do.
It's just crazy, man. Speaking of several comments, by the way, every time that we started an Instagram page, I will put the link here. I will show y'all what that Instagram page looks like so you can follow us. We really appreciate it. But my phone has been like going off like ever so often, like every couple minutes, because someone new is following. And I appreciate that. That's so sick. I was so excited to see that. Because I just was laying down one night. Oh shit, I forgot my audio's still on. I don't want to play copyrighted music. But yeah, I was sitting in bed one night and I was like, damn, we never made an Instagram or a TikTok or none of that shit. So I was like, let me just throw that together real quick. And I just went through your list of who you follow.
Yeah.
Just started following people just so they could follow us back. Because I knew once they seen the three of us, they would know like what it is very quickly.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it's been pretty cool. And the reception from the last video was also pretty cool.
Yeah.
We didn't go fully into this at the beginning, but the reception from the last video is pretty sick. Like it was exciting to see. It feels pretty good.
Yeah. I had a lot of people reach out and they're like, I want to be on that with you. Like, that's really cool. Like, you guys are doing a good job. And I don't think we advertised it as well as we could have. There was a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just a lot going on. But yeah, no, I loved watching it. I think it's a lot of fun. Like, I'm ready to get like more people on here and to like get more interaction so that you guys can really, really see like what the conversations that, you know, we had going on. I mean, there was a lot of, we actually considered naming the podcast the What Were We Talking About podcast, because as you guys can see, like our conversations can get so like all over the place.
Yeah.
We always circle back and then someone's always like, wait, no, I know. I remember what we were talking about. But yeah, no, I think so too. So yeah, if we can continue down that path and share and literally, you know, let people know what we're doing, I think that'll be cool.
This comment is cool. So it says, feeling a little extra blessed to get to learn from you and laugh with you again. And it has a heart next to it. It's from Sandra Hart 208.
Oh my gosh, love her. I have not seen her in years. Aww.
Yeah, that's the one comment on the YouTube video specifically. The rest of the comments we've been getting are like DMs and text messages.
I got another comment from Kaylee, and she was like, she goes, sitting around your desk and having those conversations was one of my favorite things about school. And then I had Jordyn, who he goes, it felt like I was sitting at your desk again, like having those conversations. Like, I've had a lot of feedback from that. And so, I mean, again, that's why we decided to start this. I mean, there's a picture from us at Red Robin when the idea came to us, you know what I mean? Because we were sitting there, we're like, how do we replicate that? Because I don't even know. I mean, it's just as random as all our other conversations where it's like, we should do this. Like, so I'm glad we're doing it.
Yeah, this is the one time we made that shit happen, baby.
Well, no, it's not the one time, because think about like all the anti-bullying presentations. We were on the news.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like the one time, like we make shit, you make shit happen. I mean, we make shit happen. It's just like we all play our own roles. You know what I mean? And so like everyone knows I'm like a terrible procrastinator, and I like.
Me too. I think it's just when I'm involved with other people in projects. Like for y'all that watch me on Twitch or on YouTube, TikTok, whatever, I haven't been on in a very long time. Last night was the first night I've streamed in like months.
Really?
Yeah, since I went on that cruise actually, and I might not have streamed.
That's been a minute.
Right before
Since
I went
December?
on the cruise. Because I don't even remember the last time I streamed before I went on the cruise. But I just remember communicating with the people that follow me that are in my Discord. But yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I am a procrastinator too. I almost forgot what I was talking about. That's why I was like, yeah, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But,
Huh?
yeah. But Yeah, I'm a procrastinator too, but when I'm involved in like a group thing, I become a doer because
You do.
like you said with that news thing, like I didn't know how to I don't know why I did that. Did we talk about going on the news beforehand or
That was 100% you. So all I remember was you were at the high school and I had you guys come down to do the presentations. And like that was insane because the middle school kids loved having that mixture of my middle schoolers and you guys coming down because they're like, oh my gosh, it's all these cool high school kids. And then all of a sudden you were like, I'm gonna let the news know what we're doing. And I was like, okay, all right. And you reached out to like every news outlet and you're like, oh, they reached back out and we have to be at, KKTV at, was it like 4 in the morning?
it was Fox
It was
21.
early.
It was Fox
Was it
21.
Fox 21?
Yes, it was Fox
Okay.
21. It was at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30.
It was early as hell.
And it was during like
It was SATs were going on because JD had to, he had, the SATs were at 8. 7:30 or 8. I think you guys had to be there at 7:30. And JD was like, at first he goes, I can't be there. And he goes, you know what? I'm not missing out on this. And so he was
made it work.
up so early. We filmed for the news and then he went and took his SATs.
That shit's crazy.
And that was insane because I was like, all right. I mean,
that shit was sick. That is so crazy to me. Yeah, because I was actively thinking about it. I was like, why did I do that?
Because you were like, this is huge. Like nobody was doing that. I think if we had continued down that path, I think it would have turned into something bigger, but it just kind of stopped.
Like motivational
Yeah.
speaker type shit.
I think so. Because I mean, you guys had gotten so good. I know I used to script out the entire thing and I would sit there and I would write it, usually with like one or two of you like behind me, like we should add this or we should add that. And then I would literally just like piece together like this person's doing this person's doing that, and then these people come in and speak. And then we even had, remember like with the capes,
Oh yeah.
when it was like when you guys took I think it was either you took the hoodies off or the capes off. There was something where like somebody came, the hoodies, because there was the bullies who were beating up the good kids, and then they would take the hoodie off. It was really good. I know it sounds kind of weird, but they were really well done. Everyone loved them. Like I still have kids who mention that. They're like, those were my favorite things to watch because
That
it
shit
was
was so fun, man.
real to them, where they were like, I was like, this is what's genuinely happening. And like teachers were excited about it. The administration, like, do you remember the superintendent, the assistant, like they all showed up and I was like, shit, this is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to get. And it was me and all of you guys. They were like, what other teachers helping you? And I was like, it's just me. It's just me and all the kids. Like, it's just, I mean, and I think that's literally how my entire career went, because I ended up in such a unique position that like there was no defining what I did, because I did so much. It was like I was implementing all these new programs and, like video production and photography and, like all the social media stuff that I put together for the high school. Like it just wasn't there. And so it was new. And I love the fact that the district always backed me up and trusted me with what I was doing. Cause I used to tell people, like, when you walk into my classroom, it's chaos, but it's organized chaos.
Yeah, we got shut down. That's why they put the money up, like for all of the props that we needed, for the equipment that we needed,
shirts and everything. Cause I was like, you can walk in and you're like, what the fuck is happening? And I was like, I got it. I know where everyone is. And if I don't know where everyone is, usually you, Kylie was really good at like, no, Gammas, we got to get this and we got to pull that. Lawson was always really good too. There were several of you that I knew I could like just look to and be like, you got this, you got this, you got this. I knew where everyone was. Haley was always really good at that. Paul. Yeah, I think everybody just had such an important role in those moments that it was like, I knew I can count on you guys. And I had this conversation with somebody the other day, where I was like, being a teacher was one of my favorite things. I loved it. And I don't know that my students ever really understood how much of an impact you all had on me. Cause I understand the other side of it. I hear it all the time. Like, you taught me this or you taught me that, or do you remember when this happened? But to be able to say like my kids had an impact on me, I mean, they still do. I mean, I have kids all over, literally all over the place. And I can have conversations with them and remember certain things. And like if I haven't seen, them in, 4 years, 5 years, and all of a sudden I see them again, it's like no time has passed. It's very, very natural. But yeah, that was an interesting time. I have pictures and videos of that.
I have the video saved of when we were on the news.
Yeah, I have that. And then I have pictures where we were at the what is it called, at the news station, and then all the presentations through the years. It was,
this shit's crazy.
It was interesting. And I mean, it's, yeah.
I say that to say we get shit done, baby, because that shit
we
is
don't play
insane.
Around.
Because but going back to the whole thing before we move on to a different topic, because there's something funny that I wanted to talk about.
I'm scared now.
But yeah, it was cool to see the reception from the first podcast. When I was streaming last night, one of the people that I play with that watches my streams, like he'll have my stream on in the background and he'll be playing with me as we're playing some games and shit. He was like giving some like really good feedback for the podcast, like some constructive stuff that we could make better, or some ideas that we could add to it. And it's just been really cool. So
and we are going to continue to build and grow. And like right now we were just like, we want to get started. So we're in my living room, which is, I mean, we will have a dedicated set here shortly. But yeah, we were just like, we just want to get started. We just want to start. 'Cause honestly, that's us. Mm-hmm. That's how we would do shit. And then eventually we're like, we're going to figure this out. We're going to make this right. And we're going to make it look fucking good.
Then eventually we're on TV and shit, like the last time.
Like it always works out. But
this shit's crazy, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it'd be fun to get like Paul and some of the other kids, Kylie, in and just have these conversations, because it's man, the picture I just showed you earlier from your guys' 8th grade graduation
makes me sick. I hate seeing all the pictures of myself.
Okay, but like I thought that was funny. So this is be a little tangent, but my hair was destroyed.
Do you want to put that picture in here?
We can. It's, I mean,
I don't want to either, but I think it will be good context.
You can put like a clown face over. It was bad. So I went to get my hair done. They chemically burned my hair, and it was not blonde. It was yellow.
Yeah, it was the color of that side panel.
Crayon yellow. But it's a picture of me, Lost, and Sean and Jordyn, and it's. I mean, it's so cool to think back though, to see those photos, because I'm like, man, you guys are so young, and to think that, I remember when you guys left, I cried like every group that left from the middle school. I was so sad. Like I was like, oh my God, my kids, I'm not going to see. And I mean, obviously I didn't lose touch with you guys. I would get visits all the time, or you guys would call me, and we had that very, very close relationship. I mean, obviously here we are, right? I mean, however many years later, like it's kind of crazy. But yeah, looking back at those pictures it's
crazy, man.
It is. It's fun though.
Do you ever cringe looking at old pictures of yourself, especially because you're in a unique position? Like when you look at old pictures of yourself, it's kind of a different person.
Last night, Sammy was pulling out photos. We were looking at old photos, and I was like, shit. I was like, damn, Sammy. He like turns the phone around. It's a picture of me, and I was like, damn, Sammy. I was like, I was big. And then I was like, send me any photos that you have like that, because I do like doing the before and after. Mm-hmm. I was like, feels good. Yeah, I used to love to see those. Like even like when I was big, I loved seeing before and afters, because I'm like, that is so fucking cool. Like some people just don't even look the same. And I was like, Sammy, send me any of any pictures you have of me being big. And he goes, oh, there's plenty of them. And I was like, you little fucker. I was like, Sammy and Jalen and Millie were laughing pretty hard, but no, I don't cringe, I guess, in the same way that maybe others do. I cringe from more of the memories than what I physically look like, because anybody can tell you I've always been the same person. Mm-hmm. Whether I was 270 pounds or 140 pounds, it doesn't matter. I've always been me, like regardless. And there's several videos we came across last night where I was showing Jalen and Millie and Tyler, who is, I mean, you guys will eventually meet Tyler, but Tyler, who is, you know, obviously like such a big part of my life, one of my absolute best friends, my family. I just like all of you guys are family to me. You guys are so close to me, but there's a video of me and him doing it was a dub smash. It was
Wow, that's like ancient TikTok.
Yes. And so the funny thing is that, you know, because people are like, oh, you know, you do this now because, you know, you're smaller or this and that. I'm like, no. Like,
You always been
we
like
were
this.
doing this shit a long time ago. Like, I mean, again, anybody who's known me throughout the years can say, like, I've always been the same person. Like, it's never going to change. Like, I'm not going to change who I am. But,
Yeah, you're not all uppity now. Now you're a skinny bitch
and
instead of a big bitch.
And I forget sometimes. Yeah, no, but it's true though. And I forget sometimes, like, there were a couple of people that I hadn't seen, like they'd moved away or gone away to college, and then they came back to visit me. Who was it? Colin was one of them. It was funny because I remember he showed up in the front office. I was still teaching at the time. They were like, you have somebody here to visit you, but you need to come and get them in the office. And I was like, oh, okay.
So they could see that you know this person.
Yeah. And so like by the time like I went to get to the pod doors, he was already there, and he opens the door and he goes, and like, because you said you had a similar reaction.
Yeah, when we had went to lunch and we were talking about doing this podcast, when I had seen you for the first, I didn't like make a big deal out of it, but it was so weird. It was like you were
what?
a clone or some shit, like you got replaced.
It's like, I hear your voice, I like, you're the same person, but you're not. And so, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't cringe because of my largeness. I think it's sometimes like looking back at memories, I'm like, oh wow, like I was, you know, going through this or dealing with that or but yeah, I mean, you don't like old photos of yourself?
Mine's just like normal. It depends on where the picture's from. Like certain pictures of myself from like when I was in middle school, not certain, all of them. I fucking hate looking at those pictures. Ugh. Like that picture you showed me, I was like, Jesus Christ, because I got all this hair on my face and shit, and
You're a grown man.
I'm bigger now. I like have grown man shit.
You don't
going
look
on.
like an 8th grader.
Yeah, but like looking like it was just so awkward. Like I was just awkward. Like even in that picture, I'm like, I remember my glasses. I had these like real rinky dink glasses because I used to break my glasses all the fucking time.
Boys.
Man,
boys do that shit
because I was looking at the lines on my glasses on the side of them, and then I was realizing that I super glued the thing back on together because I broke them. I'm like playing football during recess and shit, and then your glasses fall off your face. That shit is the worst. Like I'm getting some context this week again. Next time we're on the podcast, I'm not having glasses on. I'm tired of this shit.
I always had super glue in my desk because of all the broken glasses from the boys.
It's broken everything. Do you remember that one time? This didn't happen in class or anything, but do you remember that one time that I had broke my phone and then you tried to fix it? I had ordered the part and you tried to fix it. Do you remember that? I'll never forget that because I had like an iPhone 4, I think, and the screen was cracked on it, and I was like, damn, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, my mom's definitely not gonna get me a new phone yet, so because this one, she just got me this one not too long ago, and he was like, you could change the screen on it. It's actually pretty easy. And then I was like, well, could you do it for me? And then I ordered it. I was
probably like, yes.
Yeah, I ordered it, got it delivered.
I had fixed several phones.
Yeah.
I don't remember doing that to yours. I probably didn't fix it though.
You didn't. You weren't able to because it was too fucked up.
You probably like, I'm sure you cracked like the sensor or something on the inside. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I was like, it wasn't a you thing. It was a me thing. It was just all fucked up. I think it was because I know at that time I was really good at replacing the screens. So I was doing both Android and iPhone, and I replaced a lot of them actually because I did my own. We did Sammy's. I want to say I did probably like 6 or 7 other people's.
and everyone was just like, "Oh my god, you can do that!"
Because that shit was like easy for you. Because you watched the YouTube video and then it became muscle memory for you.
And then I was just like, I got it. I know how to like take the little screws off, but no, I guess now that you're saying it, I do remember because I'm like, I remember it was unfixable.
Because then it was like the bottom of the screen looked, obviously it was a new screen, but the bottom of the screen didn't work. Like I had got a call and it wouldn't let me answer it. So then you had to put the old screen back on. It worked obviously, but it was just still like all cracked.
It's like a sensor issue.
That's like a middle school thing too. Like all these kids walking around with cracked phones and shit. Like, because my mom always be like, your fingers are gonna be bloody after you use your phone. Like just making fun of me and shit.
I cracked my screen bad enough to where like when you're swiping, I got like
a chip
cut. Yeah. I've done that before.
Ghetto.
And then, but I feel like phones are never exactly the same when you get a new screen on them. Like there's always a weird glitch or something that happens
phones aren't the same. Like even when you get a new phone, like if something's wrong with your phone and you replace it, like, it just after a while, it starts getting fucked up again, mainly because we all have iPhones. So that's why, because they're like, okay, iPhone 16 coming out.
Well, I mean, they've admitted that they start to like throttle the service and they start to like intentionally cause glitches and issues. And I mean, they have entirely too much control over what they do with our electronics that we pay for. They're not cheap.
They're not like that
it's
fucking
crazy
Apple
how expensive
Vision.
they are.
I still want that shit though.
I can't
Apple
do
Vision
any
Pro
VR stuff
because it makes you motion sick, right?
Yeah, I can't do it.
That shit is sick. Oh, first chance I get, I'm getting one.
But I feel like if I was able to, I would be one of those people that would walk into a wall or a shelf or like fuck myself up somehow.
The Vision Pro shit is different though because you see everything. You see all your surroundings. It's not
so
like
you can see like what's.
It's not like that VR shit like that Millie does.
I don't pay attention to it as much just because like again I can't like physically I can't handle it. Yeah, no.
That shit is sick.
It makes me. It makes me sick.
I love it. I love all the new technology coming out right now.
I'm like,
I was contemplating that with movies the other day too, because I was thinking about like being a kid that was like, you couldn't tell me I wasn't a superhero.
Yeah.
And all the new like superheroes that are out now, like the fact that Black Panther really, obviously he existed, but you got to go out of your way to find out who Black Panther was when I was a kid. As opposed to now, like the movie's coming out, he's in his reference in all these Marvel shows.
Yeah.
Like that's cool for little kids like me who are like, I just related with Spider-Man because anybody could see themselves in Spider-Man.
True.
That's the intention behind him, is because that's why he's one of the only superheroes.
How tall is Spider-Man? He's pretty short, right?
How tall is he?
Yeah, so I feel like Spider-Man is short. I'm gonna Google this.
That's such a random fucking question.
Laugh at me. Hold on.
Spider-Man's. If I had to guess, he's probably like 5'9".
I feel like he's Mexican.
What?
He's a little shorty. How tall? Well, because it says my first one is how tall is Mac McClung?
Who is that?
I don't know.
Who the fuck is Mac McClung?
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man has to be like 5'8" or some shit. Okay.
I told you he's short.
Damn, that's crazy.
I told you.
Yeah, Spider-Man is a
has
shit.
a height of 5'7" in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and 5'10" in the comics.
Peter Parker Spider-Man though, because there's like 90 different Spider-Man.
I don't see him as being 5'10".
Spider-Man
to me, he's
is
about
shit,
5'6",
man.
5'7". So
that's why I got this tattoo right here.
That's why I think he's a little Latino. He's kind of small.
There's Spider-Man Mexico, but yeah, it's just cool to see now like all this shit that's coming out because you have Spider-Man that looks like you now. You got Miles Morales.
Miles Morales. I love Miles.
That shit
love Miles. Like when I tell you I've seen Into the Spider-Verse 1 million times.
It's so good.
And what's the second one?
Damn, what is the second one? I don't know if it's
I loved that one too.
That shit's
like
sick.
some people were like it was, and I was like no, I like loved that one.
That movie's fucking perfect.
Like, I was so impressed with both of them that I was like, because admittedly, like there's a lot of things I don't know about like Marvel, DC. Sammy like tries to explain it and like teach me.
That's
just like
how my mom and I are.
Just like Star Wars, he tries to explain all that to me too. And Star Wars is fun to watch with me because I catch some weird shit. I swear to you, I will find it at some point. The Grinch is running around in one of those scenes.
What?
I promise you. You
like
can
the Grinch, like
no, like it literally is like the little silhouette of the Grinch, and he's like, and I don't know if it's It was on some like Star Wars, maybe Mandalorian. I don't know which one it was, but I was like, why is the Grinch in the scene? And Sammy goes, Mother, And I was
It's
like,
not the Grinch.
seriously, like, look. And so we went back and we like, I always want to say rewind, but it's not rewinding. It's playing back, right?
Well, it's the same thing.
Technically rewind. So I was like, let's go back and look at it. And I go, look, he's right there. He's dying laughing. He goes, it does look like the Grinch.
That shit's crazy.
It looks
man.
like his little body running. And I'm like, he goes, only you would catch that. And I was like, because Star Wars is hard for me because there's so much shit happening. None of the creatures look alike. They're all like Spider-Man I can follow.
Spider-Man is easy to follow because they make those movies specifically for people who have never seen it before.
Yeah, so like I can follow Spider-Man, and Sammy was such a huge Spider-Man fan as a child that like inherently I ended up having to like learn about it, and then it was just such a big part. Like SpongeBob, I know SpongeBob because of Sammy, and like the Fairly Odd Parents and all that other shit that he used to watch. Like I know it because like I was sitting there watching it with my kid. But like Star Wars, like two of my best friends think it's the funniest shit. Where I'm just like, I like the white guys. This is stormtroopers.
The stormtroopers.
And they're
White
like,
guy sounds crazy.
Okay,
Out
but
of
that's
context.
but listen, no, okay, but I like them because their outfits are cool.
Their outfits are sick.
Yeah, and so I'm like, that's who I want to align with. And they're like, of course you would be with the dark side. I go, but they're not dark. They're in like white outfits.
Oh shit! I forgot about that part. Yeah, that's
and
funny.
so like they laugh at me because, and I'm like, I don't.
And the stormtroopers are admittedly goofy, like especially in it's the first movie, but it's not the first in the timeline, like the oldest movies. When you see them and they're like shooting at all the people and shit,
yeah,
and they're missing every single shot. Like the stormtroopers are goofy as fuck. There's one scene everybody knows, or everybody, if you know Star Wars, you probably know this scene now. But there's the scene where he's walking through the corridor and he bangs his head on the fucking thing, and it's because they couldn't see through those fucking costumes. Like shit like that is so funny in movies.
Like I want to put one on.
If we do a Halloween episode,
like I want to walk around in one of those and like just be a badass.
It's fucking.
I would probably walk into a wall too, but like still, like I think that would be so cool. Like
it's February right now, but we should definitely do a Halloween episode where we get dressed up. That would be sick.
I don't know. Just like one day I want to operate the crane. What is the wrecking ball? I want to be able to like be in that little bucket and then just like move the little remote control and like let the wrecking ball like construction. Why not? Do you know how cool that would be? To be like, I got to like knock the shit down from that wall. Like I got to knock that shit down.
I don't know if you can see my face as you're explaining. I'm like, what? What the fuck?
You don't think that'd be fun?
Yeah. Well, now that you say that,
you go up in the bucket, and then it's like a little joystick. You know what it. Okay, so Toy Story has all. I love the older ones, whatever. But the original Toy Story, where they're playing the little grab and go game, you know, what is that?
The
game
claw.
called? The claw. Mm-hmm. I kind of like the idea of that, but like on a grander scale,
like construction.
Yeah. So I want to be able to be like, just let me just one time, just let me like move it. And then like let me hit a wall and like knock that shit down.
If they would let if you walked up to a construction site and you're like, hey, can I just like,
can I please?
You're like, just swing it. I don't even have to hit anything.
I'm sure I could probably convince somebody to let me do that, because I convince people to let me do some weird shit. I feel like that's one of those things. I just haven't like been in a situation where I'm like, oh, there's a wrecking ball. Let me go ask.
Because then you're like on the highway and on the traffic is on the opposite side or some shit. I think
that would be so much fun.
That's just hilarious.
Or if I dressed up as a stormtrooper and then knocked a wall down.
That has nothing to do with each other. What the fuck?
I'm just saying, because like you do one thing, like people would be like, what the fuck is happening?
People are probably saying that right now.
Yeah, that's okay. But you know that's kind of like where that part of my brain goes.
Yeah, because I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about with the wrecking ball? Now that you say that, though, that makes perfect sense. I'm like, yeah, I would like to do that.
That shit would be fun.
That shit's probably
That's
sick.
what I'm saying. Like, those are
Unless
the things
you do it every day and you're like, fuck that.
Yeah, no. I like, that's not something I'd be, I don't know. You could pay me to do that. Because you know what? Okay. This is going to sound really weird. So, you know, stores like Crate and Barrel and like those more uppity stores that sell like expensive, like housewares. Okay. They have like vases and
like Pottery Barn.
Yes.
Okay.
I intentionally avoid going into those stores. Do you know why?
Why?
So I had to recently admit this. So as a child, ever since I was a child, my natural instinct has been to, like, when I see stuff on a shelf like that that's like really, really organized, is to go and want to just like knock it all down. So like when I walk into like Crate and Barrel, like I literally have my hands in my pocket and I like walk in and I'm in there for all of like 2 minutes and I walk right back out because I want to knock shit down.
That's insane.
Yeah, and you know the funny thing is, so my 5-year-old niece is very open about like her thoughts, right? What she thinks. She's explained the same thing to me too. Like there's a video where like she's sitting in my lap and like me and her were very very, very similar. And so she was sitting in my lap one day and I was like, who's your best friend? And she's like, you are. And then she bit the fuck out of my finger. And so like there's a video on my Instagram where I'm like, look, you bit my finger, you crazy. She's like, I'm sorry, Tia. And then she bites her own finger. I used to have that same want to like bite somebody like really, really hard. And so like, I understand her because I was like, I would not have done it because I would have gotten the shit smacked out of me. So when I see like the things that she says to me or like the things that she says, like I'm listening to it, I'm like, that sounds fucking crazy, but I totally relate. Like there was a kid, because like I had asked her, I was like, do you feel like you want to knock things down sometimes? She goes, yeah. And I was like, me too. Like
but they're kids. They're like 5.
Okay, but that doesn't mean you grow out of it. So as an adult, like I learned how to like control that. So like Legos, Sammy's always been a huge Lego fan. It's probably my fault because I've always bought him Legos. But like when people build up those big Legos, I want to just go kick the shit out of them and knock them down.
That's crazy. That's
like,
insane.
You've never had that feeling?
Maybe once or twice, but like, the way you're describing it sounds like,
do you know how fun it would be to just go kick the shit out of that and just see it go boom and like knock it all down?
I'm not disagreeing that it would be fun at all, but the way that you describe it sounds insane to me.
Or like puzzles. I hate puzzles. You know why? Why the fuck do you want to do something and sit and torture yourself when the picture's on the fucking box? Why? What is the point in that shit?
I don't. It's the accomplishment.
Not for me. My family loves puzzles. Loves them. Me and my niece Zoe, we are not fans. Mm-hmm. We just she's an older one. She's 12, but like we literally are like, no. Mm-mm. I have zero interest in it because I'm like,
puzzles. Don't get me wrong.
I'm like, there's the picture on the box. Why the fuck would I want to sit and torture myself to put that shit together? I don't. Like,
that's like Legos then. That's like if you got
But that's why I want to break Legos.
I fucking love Legos. I got a Lego figure on my desk. They got me it for my birthday last year because I was telling them about getting this tattoo. And they had put like a Spider-Man banner on top of my desk, like on the wall that's adjacent to my desk.
At your work?
Yes. And they got me this little Spider-Man Lego figure that sits on my desk right now. Cool. They're really cool at this job. I don't like to say where I work at, but I work in retail and they're really cool at this job because they do shit like that.
Yeah,
like every
like make
birthday.
it more familial.
Mm-hmm. Like when I turned 21, that was my first year there. They got me this little shot, or it's not a shot glass, but it's like a whiskey glass, and it says like good day, bad day, and like something else. Oof. But it's like the bad day is all the way at the top because you fill it up.
Drinking all that whiskey.
They got me all sorts of like cool shit like that, and I was like, this is pretty sick. But yeah, I fucking love Legos. But the thought of like the like just pure destruction that you have is insane to me.
The Lego store, like when I go in, like you know how they have and I love the fact that they're color coded. That
like in the bins, like separated.
That makes my heart happy. But I always go in and I just like have to like move things around and mess with them, and I like to touch them. But my natural instinct when I see something like that is like I just want to break it. I want to break it. And so like I understand my niece because sometimes she'll say stuff and everyone's just like, why is she saying that? I'm like, I think those things too. I've thought those things for years. It took me until I think it was November, December, when I finally admitted to everyone, I was like, I don't like going into those stores because I want to knock shit off the shelves. And like anybody who's been shopping or anywhere with me knows I'm very tactile. So I want to touch everything. And I want to I'm fidgety, not to the point where it's like crazy or where anyone can tell because I think I've learned how to control it. But if I could, I would like touch everything that I walk past.
That pisses me off. I fucking hate that. Is it because you're
retail?
Yeah, because of what I do in retail.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like, and so And I don't do it to piss anyone off.
You just can't help it. That's the thing that's
and
insane to me.
Everyone who follows me around, like Sammy, if I'm somewhere with Sammy, he's like, mother, put it back. And he goes and he puts things, and I'm not an asshole. I'm not trying to be an asshole. My brain is just always like a step ahead of what I'm currently doing. And so, and I know it sounds so fucking weird, but like, my family was putting together a puzzle one Christmas, and it was my sister, my nephew, my son, my brother-in-law, like everybody's so like, oh, it's Christmas, let's put together this fucking stupid puzzle. And I'm like, fuck, this sucks. So I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you know how funny it would be to just go and fucking destroy that shit before they wake up in the morning? They would all be pissed at me. And I wouldn't do it, but
that's
still,
insane.
like,
That's
I
like
wanted to do that.
A hunger for chaos. That's crazy. That's insane.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of like where my brain goes, and I don't act on it. I want to, but like I don't. I control myself. That's why my hands go in my pockets. Great.
That shit's crazy. Yeah. Long story short, the job that I do in retail is visual merchandising. I make things look good. I have a guide that I get sent to right before the set is due. Like tomorrow, I have this new set for this thing that's releasing. I'm trying to be vague about it because I don't want to tell people where I work.
What you do, yeah.
Yeah. But so I have a guy that comes to me the week before the set is due. I have to set it as good as I can. And I've been dreading going to work tomorrow because the set that I have to do is very intricate, the signing. Like it has like handles on the signs, like it's like 3D. And the thought of somebody that can't help it, that wants to like fucking pull the shit off, makes me so like
okay, but just because I want to doesn't mean I do. Like,
but there's people that will.
No, I know. Like I when I'm telling you, I literally will walk into the stores with my hands in my pocket, or with my, like, if you ever see me standing with my hands like right in front, like where they're like this, or even in the back where it's like that, like I'm literally physically stopping myself where I'm like, you gotta, and I learned that as a kid. Like, I mean, think about if I'd been raised in this generation, I would have had all kinds of excuses to fuck shit up. You'd be like, she can't control herself. She can't. And like, my parents were like, no, you're going to control your, and I would never, like how Isabel's very open with the family. I was never that open. Like some kid irritated her at school. He was being really mean to her. And she comes home and she's like, Mom, I wish that God wouldn't have made, insert the child's name here. I've thought those things too, where I'm like, God, why did you put this person on this earth? But like her little 5-year-old like natural brain is just like, this is how I feel. And she obviously feels safe in her environment, which is why she shares those things. And everyone's just like, oh my God, this is crazy. And I'm like, but it's not.
Yeah, because this kid is a pain in the ass.
Like, I totally understand where she's coming from. 100%.
That shit's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been going for an hour and 30.
Already?
Yeah, right? That went by pretty fast.
This is random as hell, though. It's been random.
I like it like that, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we're experimenting with. This is like going in between. Like last week's episode was a Valentine's episode,
Yeah,
so we had pre-prepared questions because we wanted to talk about everything in relation to Valentine's.
Yep.
But going forward, I like the loose tone of like once Millie's here again, it's just the three of us having a conversation.
What we used to do.
Like
this is literally how the conversations would
exactly. I don't want it to be too. We had talked about this yesterday. Friday.
Scripting it, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want it to be like too like pre-planned and stuffy, like a news show or some shit, like or like a talk show. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate the thought of it being like, okay, so like even if we have guests on, so like, what do you think about this?
I would be a great talk show host.
You probably would, but at the same time, you get distracted easy. So that's a hard one.
Yes, but it would be funny though, because then I would get people to talk about things that normally most people wouldn't.
Yes, because if you're interviewing somebody.
Yeah, because it would be like, well, just like the, how do you control yourself, or like, the wrecking ball shit. Like,
I love interviewers that ask random questions like that.
Yeah, because it brings out a different side to, and I don't do it on purpose. That's just where my brain goes.
Like Nardwuar. You ever seen Nardwuar?
No.
Oh, once we're done with this, I'll show you Nardwuar. Because Nardwuar is he's an interviewer, and he's just has like this weird, like goofy personality.
Yeah.
But he takes so much care in his interviewees and the people he's interviewing, is because like he'll bring like Snoop Dogg a tape of this concert that he did, and then Snoop Dogg will be like, I've been looking for this for forever. Or he'll bring him like an action, or like Tyler the Creator is another person he has frequently on his shows.
Yeah.
And he'll bring him an action figure of some rapper that he really likes, and he's like, I didn't even know that they have this. And then he goes into this whole story, and it's cool like that. And that's what I want this to be. I want this to be a thing where it's like we're getting people comfortable. We're not just asking them pre-prepared questions. And when it's just the three of us, or even like episodes like this, if it happens again where it's just the two of us, I like the thought of it being like this, like we're just having a conversation. I haven't seen you all week.
Yeah.
You and Millie have the unique thing of y'all see each other more than I see the two of you.
Because we're at the gym every day. Yeah.
Or she's just over here before the gym, and then y'all go to the gym, and then she comes back over here. Like, y'all see each other every other day, but I don't see you for like a week.
Yeah.
So I like the thought of being able to catch up with y'all, and it just being a thing of we're catching up with you too. We're bringing you along for that.
Yeah.
So just going back to say, we really appreciate the reception that we got from the first one. It was sick.
We do.
I look forward to hearing from you guys again. The main thing I want to ask for is more, what do you want to hear from us? I want to hear that in the comments. I want to hear like what questions you want us to ask, what topics we should be discussing, what episode themes we should go over, because having themes in certain episodes would be fun too.
Yeah.
But
just anything that would make it, I guess, more engaging for whoever's part of it. I do want it, like you said, to remain a lot more just like loose and natural in the way that it's always been. Because again, the intention of this is to replicate what was in my classroom all those years with all these different kids, that just somehow magically worked with every different group of kids. It was always successful. And I think it's just because it was like this. It was very much like, it's like the most random stuff that just pops up, and I love it. I mean, obviously, that's where my brain goes.
Yes. So, do you have anything else that you want to say before I wrap it up?
I mean, if you guys are watching us and you got this far, then just please share, like Jordyn said, let us know what you want to see, what you want to hear. I mean, we've got a lot. There's always extra stuff going on back there. And so, yeah, we're just happy you guys are joining us, and we are grateful for all of you, and much love to everybody.
Yes. And then for those of you audio listeners, because I know there's some people that have only listened to this on audio. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this right now, comment in Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to the podcast. Give us a 5-star rating. That shit's
Please.
Cool. Our social media will pop up here right now as I'm speaking. You see it? Okay, good. You see it. We shouldn't be laughing at this pod on all platforms. Just search that up. We'll come up. More clips coming soon. This one will be a fun one to edit. I'm excited to edit this one. And then, yeah, I think that's it.
I think we're good.
Okay, we love you. We'll see you in the next one. We're done.
We're out.
Bitches.
Bye.
Bye.